Hi there, and welcome again to BSF Recovery Team. Here's another recovery we had at our very wet Memorial Weekend event in Dresser, Wisconsin this past year. We were told over the radio that there was a Ford with only rear-wheel drive stuck in the puddle at the bottom of Devil's Delight, and that several attempts to try and yank him out with a strap were unsuccessful. I know at this point it doesn't look like he's stuck very bad, but let me remind you, underneath that layer of water is some really soft, sugary sand. And I think we all know what it's like when you mix beach sand and water. There was no room to pull the Ford out backwards, and pulling him out forwards meant going uphill. That's why the strap recovery was unsuccessful. I found a spot where we could pull the wrecker into the woods and nose the front up to a fairly stout tree for an anchor. I could already tell that winching the Ford out from this position would eventually block the wrecker in, but I figured we'd deal with that problem when the time comes. The first thing was to get the Ford up to some relatively drier ground. So Ryan strapped the front of the wrecker to the tree, and I spooled out the winch cable. But I don't get paid enough to wade out into the water and hook it up to the truck. It was up to the driver to find a volunteer that was willing to get wet. With the winch cable hooked up, it was now time to start the slow process of dragging the Ford through the puddle. stopped winching the Ford before I got him completely out of the puddle and right tight up to the back of the wrecker, because we still had to get it pointed in the right direction to head back to camp and get the wrecker out. I had a plan that I was pretty confident would work. Now that the front of the Ford was up on dry ground, we could take a look at what we thought was the extent of the damage to the front of the Ford. In case you didn't hear, the plan was to have Mike use the Tahoe to get the Ford turned and drag it up the hill, where there was drier ground and more room. Even though I was fairly confident that Mike and the Tahoe could accomplish this task, it sounded like there was a little doubt from some of the other recovery team members.
So, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna pull him up the hill.
With what?
What? I'm gonna pull him up the hill? I'm gonna pull him up the hill.
With the Tahoe? Does it got enough speed and guts and everything else?
Don't need speed. Traction. Momentum.
And ball. Well, we'll cheer you on. Yeah. I'll get it one more time.
Yep. Go ahead. Fine one.
maybe I was a little overconfident in the Tahoe and Mike's ability to pull the Ford up the hill. Join us next week to find out what happens. Thanks for watching BSF Recovery Team. Keep wheeling, and maybe we'll see you in the woods.